The void leading to the Dragon Clan's location appeared somewhat dim, and within it, there was not a trace of elemental energy, as if it were a mysterious void at the dawn of chaos. This gave rise to a vague sense of unease in the hearts of those present. Here, the power within everyone's body was unexpectedly restricted to some degree, indicating that the void here was even more formidable than any place they had encountered before. I didn't expect the space leading to the Dragon Clan to be so elusive. Looking at the ancient and strange passage, Xiao nodded slightly as if sensing something. When Xun'er and Hao went out to explore the Dragon Clan's location, they had already found the precise coordinates of this space. Unfortunately, over the long years that followed, even though many high-ranking members of the Endless Flame Alliance had tried, none were able to step foot here. It seemed that their power was easily repelled by the force within this space, which eventually led to the Phoenix Clan's involvement. In the void, everyone had the Phoenix Feather for protection, which made their journey much smoother. However, the time required was still considerable, given the immense length of the passage. Along the way, the hellish demon dragon spread its vast dragon body, carrying Xiao and the others. As for the two women, they silently grouped around Xiao, knowing that the Dragon Clan's journey ahead was unlikely to be an easy one. The Dragon Clan and the Phoenix Clan have always been the true overlords of this world. According to some memories of the 10-colored heaven-swallowing python, the two great super races had a close relationship in the past, living together. However, after the First Great War of Heaven and Earth and other events, some disagreements arose between the two clans, causing them to scatter. From then on, the Dragon Clan and the Phoenix Clan each went their own way. But this space leading to the Dragon Clan was created by the strength of both clans' strongest members. Therefore, only the powers of the Dragon or Phoenix clans can enter here. This space leading to the Dragon Clan is filled with forces that humans cannot comprehend or resist. Without the leadership of the 9 great Dragon Kings, or the protection of the Phoenix Clan's strength, ordinary people wouldn't even be able to find this place. Even if they were lucky enough to step into it, they would likely be crushed by the power of the space in an instant. After a moment, Kai Lin's indifferent gaze flickered slightly as she began to explain some very concealed matters. The Dragon Clan and the Phoenix Clan actually have such hidden matters between them. Upon hearing Kai Lin's words, Yun's quiet eyes showed a hint of surprise. However, deep within her gaze, there was also a faint trace of melancholy, as she wondered whether this journey to the Dragon Clan, with the help of the 9 great Dragon Kings, could lead to any clues about the path of the Flower Goddess. During the Great Calamity, she and Uru had managed to uncover a faint trace of information about the Divine Palace from the Celestial Realm. Their powers grew significantly from this, but after further investigation, they realized it was not the true Divine Palace. So, they had to place their hopes on the Dragon Clan, a mighty and all-powerful race, to find some clue. With the vast influence of the Golden Dragon King, perhaps they would know something. If they could find such power, it might be enough to resolve Xiao's troubles. This was what she hoped for in her heart. Lord, be careful. Our phoenix feathers are beginning to tremble. Ahead should be our destination. While the three of them discussed the two clans' history atop the hellish demon dragon, the dragon suddenly called out in a vigilant tone. Boom! Before Xiao and the others could respond, a massive thunderous sound reverberated through the silent void. A moment later, a magnificent and shocking scene filled their vision. At the end of the void was a vast expanse of white space, within which stood a towering mountain, blocking their path. The mountain appeared entirely white, with a faint dust-like white powder scattered across the void, like grains of sand. Even from a distance, Xiao could sense a strong aura of threat emanating from it. What is this? At this moment, even Kai Lin, with the memory of the 10-colored heaven-swallowing python, and Yun, with the inheritance of the flower goddess, were both at a loss for what they were seeing. This mountain seems somewhat similar to Dragon Mountain. Looking at the strange mountain before them, the hellish demon dragon immediately transformed into its humanoid form, its eyes swiveling as it observed the mountain. When the hellish demon dragon was exiled from the Dragon Clan, it was one of the 9 great Dragon Kings who had cast it out. Therefore, It was unfamiliar with the entrances to the Dragon Clan. Although I have no memory of this place, the power within my bloodline seems to faintly tell me that behind this mountain lies the Dragon Clan's territory. After a brief hesitation, the hellish demon dragon's eyes flashed with wild excitement. Wait. From the perception, there were countless interconnected pathways within the mountain range, and even among the dust on the mountain's surface, there seemed to be a trace of human vitality. Though this vitality had weakened over countless ages, it was still faintly discernible. This Dragon Mountain was likely an extremely dangerous place. If one were to rashly force their way in, trouble would undoubtedly follow. There are countless pathways here, but only one is the true entrance to the Dragon Clan's territory. If we take the wrong one... After a moment, Xiao Yan's brows furrowed, and a serious look appeared on his face. The Dragon Clan's collective consciousness is extremely strong. Not to mention, they rarely appear in the Great Thousand Worlds. Their power is likely so formidable that it could send chills down one's spine. The hidden methods they use within such concealed spaces are unparalleled throughout the entire Great Thousand Worlds. At this, Kai Lin could only helplessly shake her head, unable to find a solution even for herself. I'll give it a try. After a brief pause, Xiao Yan gritted his teeth and activated his Dragon Blood and Dragon God transformation, attempting to use them to break the mysterious Dragon Mountain path, the Dragon Path. Break! As he spoke, a golden dragon silhouette crawled out from his bloodline and effortlessly entered the Dragon Mountain. Once the power entered the Dragon Mountain, it moved swiftly as if walking on flat ground. Having used the power of the Golden Dragon King in the Dragon Clan's territory, Xiao Yan was once again filled with surprise. It seemed that the essence blood the Golden Dragon King's Dragon Blood Martial Emperor had given him had not been completely absorbed. Instead, it appeared to be a supreme force protecting him. It made sense when he thought about it. The Golden Dragon King was a being hailed as the strongest in the Dragon Clan and the most likely to replace the Dragon God. The latter's original essence blood. How could someone at the peak of the 8th reincarnation stage like Xiao Yan fully absorb it? If he did, with Xiao Yan's strength, he might have exploded and perished long ago. Follow me. Xiao Yan grunted coldly, and with that, the four of them followed the golden dragon silhouette and the strange half-human, half-dragon figure, rushing into the legendary place, the Dragon Clan's territory. Passing through the Dragon Mountain and the countless complicated dragon paths, the group found themselves in the void, where faint golden light filled the air. The end of the passage seemed to lead to an even more expansive world, which Xiao Yan and the others quickly pursued. The Dragon Clan truly lives up to its reputation as the ruler of the heavens and earth. Such a complex and subtle space, even ordinary 9th reincarnation stage experts would find it difficult to enter. Such terrifying methods, it's likely the internal strife within the Dragon Clan is just as complex. As they followed the golden dragon silhouette, Xiao Yan couldn't help but click his tongue, astonished by the mysteries of this world and the current state of the Dragon Clan. Lord Xiao Yan, it seems there are traces of Dragon Clan experts fighting ahead. Be prepared. As soon as the voice of the hellish demon dragon sounded, it transformed again into its giant dragon form and leaped into the passage's end, entering the Dragon Clan's territory. The Dragon Clan, vast and sprawling, had spatial stability even stronger than anywhere else in the Great Thousand Worlds. The Dragon Clan possessed numerous palaces and buildings, but the core locations were only 3. The Dragon Palace, where the Dragon Kings resided, the Dragon Tomb, the resting place for past Dragon Clan powerhouses, and the Dragon Hall, where the clan's ultimate combat strength was controlled. After the return of the Golden Dragon King, the Silver Dragon King, who originally occupied one of these 3 core positions, was pushed out. Now, both the Dragon Palace and the Dragon Tomb were under the Golden Dragon King's control, while only the Dragon Hall and other areas remained under the Silver Dragon King's influence. After the fall of the Dragon God, the Dragon Clan had failed to elect a new clan leader across countless reincarnations. It was the Golden Dragon King who had been ruling in their stead. However, after the First Great War of Heaven and Earth, the Golden Dragon King, wounded, stayed behind to guard the last passage between the Do-Chi continent and the Do-Di continent. This resulted in numerous rumors, and a gradual decline in his reputation. During his absence, the core combat power of the Dragon Clan slowly aligned with the Silver Dragon King. Even though the Silver Dragon King had returned, the state of the Dragon Clan was still far from promising. Dragon Clan, 10,000 Dragon Ridge. This was the place closest to both the Dragon Clan space and the outside world. Countless Dragon Clan experts passed through here to enter or exit their territory, making it a crucial route. The mountain range in 10,000 Dragon Ridge was dense with trees and rugged terrain, a natural fortress, easy to defend but difficult to attack. Lord, we currently have less than 5 warriors left who are still capable of fighting, and they are all around the half-step 7th reincarnation stage. They won't be able to contend with the peak of the 7th reincarnation stage, the Wood Dragon King. From a hidden rock within the mountain range, a stern voice echoed. As the voice spoke, the small group of roughly a dozen warriors turned their gazes to the leader. Despite their injuries, with scales shimmering and the stench of rot filling the air, they remained unfazed. We'll still need about 15 minutes to reach the Dragon Mountain. The leader squinted his eyes as he gazed at the faint, dazzling green aura within the 10,000 Dragon Ridge, then spoke softly. No, this place's wood attribute is too dense, causing the Wood Dragon King's combat power to surge. If we leave your side, I'm afraid. You were personally instructed by Lord Golden Dragon King. There can be no mistakes. Among the Dragon Clan team, a middle-aged man of considerable strength and prestige stood up, cutting off the leader's words. Sigh. Originally, I intended to leave the Dragon Clan and seek reinforcements from the Endless Flame Alliance to resolve the internal strife. But who would have thought that the Silver Dragon King found out and sent one of the 5 great Dragon Kings, the Wood Dragon King, to hunt me down? The leader shook his head helplessly, but his voice was filled with an extreme coldness and murderous intent. This man was none other than Xiao, who had once followed the Golden Dragon King to the Dragon Clan. Now, Xiao's appearance had not changed much. In fact, his incredible talent, so dazzling it outshone others, had earned him the recognition of the Golden Dragon King and others shortly after joining the Dragon Clan. Though his current strength was only at the 4th reincarnation stage, his sharp intellect was highly valued by the Dragon Clan. Humph. Xiao, come out. Why hide? My lord respects your extraordinary wit. If you are willing to surrender to us, we will surely spare your life. Suddenly, the entire ridge was filled with howling winds as wooden attribute hurricanes swept through the area. One of the 9 great Dragon Kings, the Wood Dragon King. He appeared to be in his middle years, with distinctive green long hair, adorned with wooden attribute ornaments. His expression was one of arrogance. Out of the 9 great Dragon Kings, only Baxia Dragon King and Fire Dragon King have submitted to Lord Golden Dragon King. The Silver Dragon King leads the 5 great Dragon Kings and many strong members of the Dragon Clan. This battle. Listening to this, Xiao's eyes kept moving, still thinking of ways to resolve the deadlock. From some of the information leaked by the Golden Dragon King, the once greenhorn Xiao had now become a formidable force. Unfortunately, the Golden Dragon King did not want Xiao to be involved in the Dragon Clan's internal conflicts, so he had delayed sending a request for help. A few days ago, when the Golden Dragon King suddenly disappeared and the Silver Dragon King's faction launched a surprise attack, Xiao had no choice but to resort to this desperate measure. I have a plan. After a moment's thought, as Xiao noticed some unusual terrain patterns on the ridge, an idea suddenly formed in his mind. Figured it out? The Wood Dragon King casually strolled through the ridge, and when he saw Xiao appear before him, a sneer curved at the corner of his mouth. The small team protecting Xiao was far too weak. Had it not been for the Silver Dragon King's orders to capture Xiao alive, this place would have already been leveled. Infinite shield, go. At the very moment the Wood Dragon King's contemptuous thought surfaced, a massive light shield materialized in front of Xiao. He shouted fiercely, and a thick, reincarnation aura fell from the shield, temporarily restricting the Wood Dragon King's movement. The group hurriedly dashed toward the exit. Damn. If that's how it is, don't blame me for being ruthless. Annihilation Dragon Palm. Seeing the infinite shield and the powerful reincarnation power forming a defensive barrier to restrict his movements, The Wood Dragon King's eyes flashed with a hint of regret. He then extended his palm, radiating a fierce, glaring wood attribute aura, and pressed toward where Xiao and the others were fleeing. He had been ordered to capture Xiao and guard the Dragon Clan's exit to prevent anyone from escaping the internal turmoil. How could he let Xiao and the others escape so easily? The space around Xiao and his companions began to slowly collapse, their absolute power gap now apparent. They were like ants, with their vitality being gradually extinguished by the Wood Dragon King. The sound of bones buzzing, skin tightening, and blood warping filled the air as explosive power began to surge within their bodies. Countless vines and tree branches, empowered by the wood attribute, sealed off their escape routes completely. The Wood Dragon King's body glided toward them like a ghost, and he reached out with his long fingers, a deathly aura swirling around the tips. Xiao, you were wise all your life. Why make such a foolish decision now? The Dragon Clan can only have one dragon god. During the years that Lord Golden Dragon King has been absent, the entire Dragon Clan has already been under my lord's control. Now everything is in place, only lacking the final push. In your next life, remember to be smarter. The Wood Dragon King sneered. Then his fingertip glowed with deathly power as it swept toward Xiao's crown. It's over. After today, the internal strife will be completely settled, and a new dragon god will rise to lead the Dragon Clan to glory. And the so-called dragon god can only be the Silver Dragon King. As Mu Longlong's fingers lightly brushed across the throats of Xiao and the others, a wave of extraordinarily intense heat suddenly surged through the void around the mountains, causing the overwhelming destructive force to evaporate in an instant, without inflicting any harm on the group. At this, the Dragon Clan experts who were shielding Xiao exchanged puzzled looks, unable to make sense of the situation. This fluctuation. In that moment, Xiao seemed to have aged countless years in an instant. His eyes were filled with a trace of sorrowful tears, and without regard for the vines and other restraints binding him, he lifted his head, gazing toward the direction of the Dragon Clan's exit, toward Long Mountain. At that moment, several orbs of light, chasing the stars and moon, rapidly flew toward 10,000 Dragon Ridge. The aura they carried was so powerful that even Mu Longlong's face showed signs of shock. Is that the aura of the Fire Dragon King? But isn't the Fire Dragon King locked in battle with my master? Why would he appear here? Mu Longlong's eyes gradually deepened, keeping a watchful eye on the several auras that were swiftly approaching in the distance. Among the 9 great Dragon Kings, apart from the Gold and Silver Dragon Kings, the Fire Dragon King and Batttle Dragon King were the strongest. If the Fire Dragon King truly managed to break free from Silver Dragon King's grasp to come to the rescue, even with his power, he would not be able to face them head-on. The strength of their Dragon Kings mostly rested at the 6th or 7th reincarnation stage, while Battlle and Fire Dragon King had vaguely touched upon the 8th realm. Naturally, the gap between these realms was vast and nearly impossible to cross. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. As several balls of light landed, figures slowly emerged. The one leading them, a man in black, scanned the surroundings with a silent gaze. A killing intent more terrifying than the most savage beast spread through the air. Your auras don't resemble that of our Dragon Clan. I advise you all to mind your own business when it comes to Dragon Clan affairs. Be careful not to bring destruction upon yourselves. Seeing the 4 figures quietly remain before Xiao, Mu Longlong let out a sigh of relief. Thankfully, it wasn't the Fire Dragon King. If it weren't the Fire Dragon King, then they were nothing more than a bunch of clowns. You annoying old fool. Huh. At that moment, it seemed that the hellish demon dragon noticed the fierce killing intent surrounding Xiao. With a grin, it waved its hand, engaging in a fierce battle with Mu Longlong. Although the latter was only at the 7th reincarnation stage, fighting Mu Longlong to a standstill was still within its capability. Greetings, Ancestor Xiao. At this moment, Kai Lin and Yun were the first to speak, slightly bowing before respectfully addressing the middle-aged man before them. Xiao had once been the leader of the Xiao clan in the Dodi continent. His immense talent and power had even been a great blessing to Xiao, and their current respect was only natural. Heh, don't flatter this old man too much. In response to their respectful gestures, Xiao Xian's mood lightened, but he hurriedly responded. The four matriarchs of the boundless fire domain were not mere ornaments. Each one was a terrifying presence whose name resonated throughout the great thousand worlds. Heh, we can take it. Ancestor Xiao Xian, my apologies for arriving late. A moment later, Xiao Yin cupped his hands in salute. Despite the years that had passed, his respect for the powerful figures who had once contributed greatly to the Xiao clan remained unwavering. If it weren't for their efforts, the Xiao clan would never have achieved its past glory. Good, that's the spirit of a true Xiao clan man. However, little one, this is Mu Long Wang, one of the 9 great dragon kings. His strength has already reached the peak of the 7th reincarnation stage. You should be careful. Xiao Xian's words carried a hint of caution. After all, Xiao Yin wasn't fully aware of the strength of the Dragon Clan experts, so he only offered this reminder. From Xiao Xian's perception, however, the strength of the figures before him felt elusive, making them difficult to gauge. Slap! Hearing Xiao Xian's words, Xiao Yin suddenly waved his hand, and brilliant flames soared from his body. A scream echoed from behind. I've come here specifically for the Dragon Clan. After completing his actions, Xiao Yin released everyone from their restraints, then turned to Mu Long Wang with a goofy smile. Glurp! At this moment, Xiao Xian's concerns were shattered by Xiao Yan's effortless actions. To defeat Mu Long Wang so easily? Xiao Yan's power had clearly reached a terrifying level, one that struck fear into the heart. Lord Xiao Yin. At this moment, the Dragon Clan experts within the group couldn't help but roar in excitement, feeling a surge of blood boiling within them. Since the internal strife in the Dragon Clan, the atmosphere had been constantly filled with war. They hadn't felt such relief in a long time, constantly suppressed by the Silver Dragon King's faction. Xiao Yan's actions were truly a catharsis for them. Speak then. In the next moment, the void in front of Xiao Yan slightly collapsed, and he stepped into it alone. When he reappeared, he was standing right in front of the Wood Dragon King. At this moment, the Wood Dragon King, whose wood-based power had already been imprisoned by the dazzling 9-colored sacred flame, was no different from a prisoner. A brat still wet behind the ears dares to interfere with the Dragon Clan's internal strife? Although captured, the Wood Dragon King's pride as a Dragon King had him trembling with anger. His face twisted with a fierce snarl, and he bared his teeth, roaring at Xiao Yin. I don't have time to waste with you. I'll give you 3 breaths. If you don't speak, you die. Faced with the Wood Dragon King's defiance, Xiao Yin didn't say much more. His cold voice spread across the land, chilling the air. Then he slowly extended his palm, and a dazzling, fiery ball danced in his hand. The flames flickered, making the surrounding powerful individuals tense up. Their breathing slowed significantly, as if the destructive power within these flames was not something a mere 7th reincarnation stage could resist. You dare kill me? Do you know who I am? In this moment, feeling the tangible killing intent emanating from Xiao Yin, the Wood Dragon King's pride vanished. In its place was astonishment and fear. Those not of our kind will have a different heart. The Golden Dragon King is my master. Do you think I dare not? You're just one of the 9 great Dragon Kings. Killing you will let me take the Dragon God's origin from your body. Who knows, I might even get a faint chance to touch the power of the Dragon God. Xiao Yin replied to the Wood Dragon King's retort with a casual smile. It didn't matter if he was the Wood Dragon King or the Silver Dragon King. As long as they opposed his master, the Golden Dragon King, their end would not be any better. 3. The countdown began, and the sacred flame on Xiao Yan's palm flickered violently. You madman! At this moment, the Wood Dragon King's face showed no composure, only deep fear. 2. I'll speak. Gritting his teeth, the Wood Dragon King had no choice but to comply. The Dragon Clan has always been led by the Golden Dragon King. However, after the first Great War of Heaven and Earth, the Golden Dragon King disappeared for several years, and the Dragon Clan fell under the control of the Silver Dragon King. The Silver Dragon King has always resented the Golden Dragon King, and during his control of the Dragon Clan, he secretly eliminated the heretics, gradually taking full control. Unfortunately, one day, the Golden Dragon King returned and wanted to reclaim everything. Suddenly, the staunch faction within the Dragon Clan resisted, supporting the Golden Dragon King. The Silver Dragon King was unwilling to accept this, and thus, the internal strife within the Dragon Clan began. During the conflict between the Golden and Silver Dragon King factions, countless battles broke out, and both sides suffered casualties. But no matter how intense the battle got, even when faced with crises, the Golden Dragon King used his own power to turn the tide and bring things to a standstill. Although the Silver Dragon King's faction had the support of 5 Dragon Kings, the Fire Dragon King and Basha Dragon King under the Golden Dragon King were among the strongest of the 7 Great Dragon Kings. Hence, the battle remained deadlocked. The Wood Dragon King's expression was filled with hatred as he spoke, word by word. Did the Silver Dragon King call for outside help? At this moment, a bad feeling suddenly arose in Xiao Yan's heart. Was the Dragon Clan, in this great thousand worlds, like the ancient Void Dragon on the Dochi continent? No. The rest, let me explain. Xiao Xin patted Xiao Yan's shoulder, then turned and said, "We've fought multiple times." The Silver Dragon King, seeing the Golden Dragon King's power gradually recovering, couldn't sit still. She knew that if time went on like this, she would eventually lose. So, she awakened the Supreme Elder of the Dragon Clan, convincing him at great cost to help her unify the Dragon Clan. With the Supreme Elder and the backing of the 5 Dragon Kings, the Golden Dragon King's faction gradually weakened. Moreover, after several battles, although the Golden Dragon King had experienced countless wars, he suffered many hidden injuries. Now, he plans to enter the Dragon Tomb to seek the Dragon God's method, break through his current limitations, and emerge with overwhelming power to end the internal strife. As for us, we originally planned to seek help from the outside, but we never expected. Xiao Xin began explaining what he knew. That Supreme Elder, what level of power does he have? Upon hearing this, Xiao Yan's heart sank, feeling a wave of suppressed emotion. A Supreme Elder of the Dragon Clan. Such power was probably not something simple. 8. Peak of the 8th reincarnation stage. The Wood Dragon King's eyes shifted slightly, as if he were a thief, trembling in fear. Xiao Xin and the others were only vaguely aware of this. Peak of the 8th reincarnation stage? Based on some memories of the 10-colored heaven-swallowing python, it seems that the Dragon Clan's High Elders are not just one individual, and their strength is likely far beyond the simple peak of the 8th reincarnation stage. I've told you everything I know. Can you let me go now? Seeing the group before him lost in thought, the Wood Dragon King quickly spoke up. Impossible. Just as Xiao Yan was about to take action to eliminate him, Xiao Xin slowly waved his hand. The 9 Great Dragon Kings are said to be manifestations of Dragon God's power. Losing any of them would be disastrous for the Dragon Clan. Moreover, with your current strength, completely eradicating a Dragon King is no easy task. Xiao Xin softly echoed in Xiao Yan's ear. The thought of eliminating a Dragon King with such methods was indeed terrifying. Death may be forgiven, but the living crimes cannot be escaped. Forbidden Palace, seal him. After a brief hesitation, Xiao Yan used the power of the reincarnation domain and sacred flame within him to create a grayish palace dozens of yards in size, instantly suppressing the Wood Dragon King inside. This seal cannot be opened by anyone below the peak of the 8th reincarnation stage. In 1 month's time, it will self-destruct. Senior Xiao Xin, please take me to the Dragon Tomb. The next moment, Xiao Yan clenched his fist, with a trace of undeniable killing intent surging in his eyes. Lord Xiao Yan, follow this way. This is the closest path to the Dragon Tomb, but along the way, we may encounter enemies from the Silver Dragon King faction. The Dragon Tomb is heavily guarded now, and we must first go to a different location. Let's go. As the words fell, the group swiftly soared across the sky, heading toward the Dragon Tomb. Meanwhile, at the Dragon Tomb, the vast Dragon Tomb area was surrounded by countless Dragon Clan warriors, preventing any movement, as if guarding something extraordinary. High Elder. How is the Wood Dragon King? Lord Wood Dragon King has already locked onto Xiao Xin and his group's whereabouts. It won't be long before they are captured. That's good. We just need to guard this place. Everything will unfold as it should." As the words fell, the High Elder slowly closed his eyes, transforming into an inconspicuous figure, blending into the Dragon Clan warriors. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Suddenly, the sharp sound of wind splitting the air echoed, as two figures, both with grim expressions, arrived one after the other. "What are you two doing here?" As they arrived, they saw the heavy guard around the dragon tomb and immediately frowned. "We have urgent matters. We need to enter the dragon tomb to meet the Golden Dragon King. You should step aside." Seeing the group of Dragon Clan warriors surrounding the dragon tomb, Xia Dragon King's face darkened, and he immediately ordered them to stand down. "The dragon tomb is a forbidden place for the Dragon Clan. We cannot allow entry." These Dragon Clan warriors were evidently well-trained and immediately rejected the request. "Are you willing to bear the consequences of delaying important matters for the Dragon Clan?" Instantly, a red-haired man beside Xia Dragon King cursed loudly, his temper flaring. "Heh, Fire Dragon King, Xia Dragon King, why act so rashly? We are here under the orders of the Silver Dragon King. We have been guarding the dragon tomb day and night. Without the Silver Dragon King's command, even if it's the command of two Dragon Kings, we cannot let you pass." A gray-haired elder slowly stepped out of the crowd, a smile on his face as he looked at the two. As soon as he appeared, the surrounding energy in the dragon tomb seemed to freeze, and a wave of unease spread through the hearts of the two Dragon Kings. "You!" Flames flickered on the Fire Dragon King's red hair, his agitation evident. But just as he moved, he was stopped by Xia Dragon King. "Let's go. We'll return for now." At that moment, Xia Dragon King and Fire Dragon King vanished, but their gazes were full of worry, clearly concerned about something. "High Elder, why don't we capture them?" A few of the Dragon Clan warrior leaders approached and asked. The Dragon Clan has already lost many powerful warriors due to internal strife. Now that the Silver Dragon King has entered the Dragon Tomb, once the task is completed, they will understand who the true ruler of the Dragon Clan is. With that, the area returned to calm, though beneath the silence, hidden dangers lingered. "Xia, why did you stop me?" "My older brother has already secretly entered the Dragon Tomb to enter seclusion. Now, with the actions of the Silver Dragon King's faction, it's clear they plan to trap us. If my older brother is harmed, the Dragon Clan might be completely destroyed. How can Silver Dragon King, a mere woman, lead our Dragon Clan to glory?" As Xia Dragon King and Fire Dragon King left the Dragon Tomb, heading back to Xia Dragon Palace, Fire Dragon King kept grumbling along the way, filled with resentment towards Silver Dragon King. During the period of the Great War of Heaven and Earth, under the rule of the Golden Dragon King, the Dragon Clan was exceptionally united and powerful, with countless experts at the 9th reincarnation stage. However, with the disappearance of the Golden Dragon King and the rise of the Silver Dragon King, the Dragon Clan began to weaken significantly. Some treacherous individuals even held high positions, and the distribution of resources became uneven. This led to increasing unrest within the Dragon Clan. The elite Dragon Clan warriors guarding the Dragon Tomb number roughly 100, and on top of that, there are likely 5 great Dragon Kings hidden in the shadows, along with that elder with unknown strength. With just the two of us, there's no way to take action. From that elder alone, I can feel a terrifying aura that suppresses my senses. Based on my guess, his strength is at least at the half-step 9th reincarnation stage. Such a level is far beyond what we, at the quasi-8th reincarnation stage and 8th reincarnation stage, can withstand. If we rashly attacked, we would likely only ruin any chance of saving Big Brother. The Xia Dragon King, more meticulous than the Fire Dragon King, analyzed the situation carefully, which helped calm the Fire Dragon King's anger. The Dragon Clan was in turmoil, and with the Golden Dragon King in seclusion, the balance of power had already shifted. If they were to fully engage in war with the Silver Dragon King's faction now, it would be an incredibly foolish decision. Only a few of us know that Big Brother is in seclusion inside the Dragon Tomb. How did they find out? Was it just a coincidence that they were guarding the Dragon Tomb? Moreover, before Big Brother entered, internal conflicts within the Dragon Clan suddenly ceased. Now that Elder has brought people to guard the Dragon Tomb, Their intentions seem very clear. The Baxia Dragon King murmured continuously, his eyes slowly shifting as though he were trying to come up with a strategy. So, what chance do we have now? The Fire Dragon King, despite his powerful status within the Dragon Clan, was notoriously simple-minded among the 9 great Dragon Kings. At this moment, all he could do was ask with a serious face. To him, it was all about fighting, and he clearly had no clue how to deal with these matters. According to Big Brother, in the ancient texts of the Dragon Clan, there should be more than one Supreme Elder in the clan. If we can find the whereabouts of another Supreme Elder, it might be enough to turn the tide of the battle. After a moment, the Baxia Dragon King seemed to come up with an idea, his face brightening with joy. But soon after, his brows furrowed deeply again. The Supreme Elders of the Dragon Clan, with power and status even above the Dragon Kings, came and went without a trace. For just the 2 of them to find one was no easy task. Let's go to the outskirts of the Dragon Hall. There's a hidden passage there. During the previous battle, I sensed a terrifying aura coming from it. It seemed only slightly weaker than Big Brother's. Perhaps we can use this to find the resting place of the Supreme Elder. As they spoke, the 2 of them quickly sped toward their destination. At the outskirts of the Dragon Hall, the guards were sparse, so they reached the secret passage with ease. Inside the passage, the surroundings were sheer cliffs, clearly a dangerous area. Yet, there were traces of faint dragon breath burning in the air. These traces seemed to resemble the seclusion area of a Supreme Elder. Let's go deeper and see. Dragon God transformation? How could this be? Could it be that the Supreme Elder has already fallen victim to a deadly trap? When the 2 hurriedly used secret techniques to delve deeper, they found the area empty, as if it had been devoid of life for a long time. Or, has he exited his seclusion? The Baxia Dragon King shook his head helplessly in response. Bang! 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 My lord, Lord Xiao has returned, and he is accompanied by several unfamiliar figures. They say they have urgent matters to discuss with both Dragon Kings. Please return to the Dragon Palace immediately. In their hesitation, the Dragon Clan's unique transmission sound suddenly resonated from the Baxia Dragon King's back, easily reaching their ears. Xiao has returned safely? Has he found reinforcements? Let's go. We need to carefully plan what to do about the Dragon Tomb and Big Brother. As soon as the words were spoken, the 2 quickly left the area. Heh! It seems that the old fool hiding in the Black Dragon Cavern has successfully exited his seclusion. However, given his stubborn nature, it doesn't seem likely he will interfere in the internal strife of the Dragon Clan. As the words fell, the Supreme Elder guarding the Dragon Tomb quietly disappeared, returning to the majority. Each of the 9 great Dragon Kings had their own Dragon Palace and territories. Though these were much smaller than those of the Golden and Silver Dragon Kings, they were still symbols of their status and power within the Dragon Clan. The Baxia Dragon Palace was ranked 3rd among the 9 great dragon palaces. The joint attack of powerful individuals below the 8th reincarnation stage could be defended for the duration of a single incense stick's burn time. At this moment, within the Baxia Dragon Palace, Xiao and the others had been waiting quietly for a long time, but the Baxia Dragon King and his group still hadn't shown up. This made Xiao, who was usually sharp, uneasy. The promised internal strife within the Dragon Clan hadn't shown any signs of conflict in the Dragon Clan territories they passed through along the way. Everyone, please remain calm, Xiao said, continuously explaining the current state of the Dragon Clan. Recently, the conflict between the 2 major factions has suddenly stalled. We took advantage of this lull in the fighting to venture out. The fighting has suddenly stopped? Xiao eyes gleamed with a sharp light, as if some suspicion arose within him. That doesn't make sense. According to Senior Xiao, the Silver Dragon Kings faction has the power of 5 great Dragon Kings and a Senior Elder, along with nearly 70% of the Dragon Clan's forces. They should have easily crushed the Golden Dragon Kings faction. But during this prolonged internal strife, why have they been locked in such a fierce battle with you? And after the Golden Dragon King entered seclusion, why did the fighting halt? Something doesn't add up. At that moment, Yun spoke up first, breaking the silence in the Dragon Palace. That's right. Moreover, with the Golden Dragon King in seclusion and the top combat powers of your faction gone, they could have wiped you out in one fell swoop. Why would they suddenly stop the conflict? There's definitely something fishy going on. Kai Lin also stepped forward, highlighting the key points of the situation.